Hi and welcome to Worldwide Culinary Apprentice online cooking school. My name is Chef Roger and I'm about to show you how we make a delicious recipe. We are going to make some Tart Tatin. Beautiful apple tart. Well, it's a little variation of a Tart Tatin because we're going to make them individual. Usually a Tart Tatin, you will make a caramel in a pan like that one, you could use that. And then you will place your apple all over, going all around. And you will pack as many apples as you could. You will take some pastry dough. Usually we use a pâte sucrée or pâte sablée, but we roll out, cover the apple, and we'll bake it in the oven. After it's baked, we let it set a little bit, and then we unmold it. This is a great recipe. That's, you know, the traditional way, the rustic way. When you're trying to portion that after, it's a little tricky because it's very, very fragile. But it's still very good. Amazing flavor. But I'm going to do a little twist on that. I'm using the same ingredients, but we're going to make them individually into those ring mold here. The way I'm going to do that, I'm going to cook those apples in the caramel, then put them into that ring mold, cover them with some pastry dough that I baked here. We flip them over, and as we need them, we'll be ready to just read them and serve them. So here we go. I'm going to show you how we do that. I'm going to put in my saute pan here some butter. We put the butter. I'm going to let it melt, and then I will add my sugar to it. Let me show you how I prep that apple here. I take the apple, I peel it, I cut it, and then after you cut the apple, using a melon butter, you will remove the end here. If you don't have a melon butter, you can use, you know, a different tool that do the same. Then in the center, I remove the core. Do the same thing here. And voila. Then the apple, depending on the size, you will quarter it or six it. Here it's pretty large, so I'm going to cut it in 6 pieces. This way. Okay? Then if you're doing those in advance, you may want to put a little bit of lemon on top of them so they don't oxidize. So my butter here is melted. I'm going to add some sugar to it. Nice amount of sugar. And I'm going to wait till everything caramelized together. Add a little bit more sugar here. After I start caramelizing lightly, I will add my apple to it and let them cook gently into the caramel. As they cook, the caramel is going to darken up a little bit, you know, and give great flavor to the apple. Now you don't want to cook the caramel too much prior to putting the apple, because after, by the time the apple are cooked, your caramel will be eventually overcooked. And overcooked caramel, which is more like a burnt caramel, become very, very bitter. Also, as you add the apple into the caramel, since they're cold, it's going to cool down and the caramel is going to seize on the apple. And do not worry about that. As everything read together, the caramel will bend down again and everything will be fine. Okay, we can see it start to brown here. Still getting a little browner. I'm going to show you what I did with my pastry. So you take some puff pastry or a pâte sucrée or a pâte brisée. All those 3 recipes are into my playlist on the dough playlist, so you check them, you see which one you want to use. Really, it's up to you. You can use any of those. Then you roll it. Using a ring mold, you will cut them and you'll bake them at 375 till they're nice and golden brown. Okay, so the caramel here is getting nicely dark. I'm going to add the apple to it. I'm going to move those apples into the caramel, so they're all coated with the caramel. And now we're going to let that cook till your apples are the color of the caramel. Basically, that's what's going to happen. You're going to cook in it, get color, absorb all that nice flavor. And they need to be completely tender. You take a knife, you poke into them, it should be, it should slide in like it was butter, soft butter. Make sure to toss them around as you go, so it doesn't just burn on the bottom, At that point you could multitask on something else, and if you have something else to do, and you just keep an eye on it, come back and move them around. It's going to take, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes for those apples to be done. Oh yes. My apples are not overcooked at all. They can go a little longer, which is going to ensure that I get a really, really nice color on those. I put more of my dough in the oven. I'm going to check those and see how it is. The way I did that, that stays here, is I cover them so they don't puff up too much. Okay, see now, and they all puff evenly at the same height. So now they need a little bit more, so we're going to go back in the oven. Again, my oven is at 375 degree Fahrenheit. And they should take around 15 to 20 minutes to bake, depending, if you have 375 or 380. If you're using a convection oven, I'm using a convection here. So if you're using a regular conventional oven, I will go at 400, 425 to bake them. So the apples are cooked. They look beautiful, completely tender. I'm going to remove them here. And we're going now to build our Tart Tatin, our apple tart. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take each apple, and this is important, the way we're going to put them into the ring mold here. See, this is the bottom of the apple, and I want to put the bottom side down. Very important for presentation. And I want them to overlap slightly. And we want to put 4 pieces of apple, that should be enough. Like that. So here you can see in the center there's a little hole, but that's not a problem at all. You'll see why. when I flip them over. So I'm going to make the other one. Again, I make sure they overlap. They're nice and tender, those apples, beautiful thing. Smells so good. And when I get to the last one here, I want to put it under it, so I lift it up, I push this one here, and we cover it like that. Here we go this way. I'll finish those after. Now we'll take our puff pastry, you'll push it, you put it on top. And now we're going to press the puff pastry onto the tart, onto the apple. Press it well. Okay. Now we take it, we're going to flip it over this way here. And as you can see, I'm going to press it more, and we fill up the center here this way. Show you one more time with that one. You take it, here, you have it like that. So here you see the little hole, but then you just press that nicely, and you're going to close that hole. Nobody's going to see it this way. Beautiful thing. And this is how you make individual Tart Tatin. Now at that point here, when they're like that, I could store them in my fridge and use them when I need them, or I could just eat one right away. We're going to plate one. I take my plate, I'll do that here. You take your plate, you take your apple tart, put it on top. I'm going to put it a little bit on the side here because I want to have some room for my crème chantilly. Lift it up. Now I made that whipped cream earlier, way too early actually. I should have waited. And so I'm pretty sure it's liquid in, so I add one more and or two inside. Voilà. Now we're going to pipe that nicely this way. Oops. And here we have a beautiful caramelized apple tart. Or we could call it also a tart tatin. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I see you next class. Bye bye.